for Cunningham.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I want to start my contribution today by acknowledging the First Nations people of this country, and in particular the original owners and custodians of the land on which this parliament meets, and the original owners and ongoing custodians of the land on which my electorate of around Wollongong also owed, I think, our acknowledgement and respect, in particular because, of course, this is NAIDOC week. And in my electorate, there are many, many people and organisations taking the opportunity to acknowledge and pay respect to our First Nations people. Of course, NAIDOC week is normally earlier in the year, but through the COVID pandemic, we've now seen it move to this week. And I want to just say that personally, and I know many of my local constituents have extraordinary value to the current leaders of the Indigenous community in our area. Their amazing welcomes to country that we see at so many events that we attend, where I always learn something new about the Dreamtime stories of my own local area, about the ongoing custodianship and connection to land that Aboriginal people from our area feel, and the just generous and heartfelt welcome that is extended, given the history has been so fraught and so negative for our First Nations people, that that I think we should acknowledge that generosity and willingness to share their expertise and their knowledge with the rest of us is an invaluable asset in all of our communities. I want to particularly acknowledge that, and I spoke in this House earlier in the year after the bushfires that we experienced over the last summer. Many of us, and I'm glad that it's been across the board, recognise that if we listen more closely to Indigenous Australians about the management of land, that we could learn an awful lot about better managing the fire risk in this nation. And I'm pleased that that is a view that now is much more mainstream and people are really starting to engage with First Nations people. I just want to finish by saying that as part of this, I think we do need to pay respect to the Uluru Statement from the Heart. We do need to support a constitutionally recognised voice to Parliament. We do need treaty and we do need truth-telling. And I think we would all be stronger for taking that next step, called for by our First Nations people, coming together and giving an honest feedback to the nation about how they see the way forward. And I just reaffirm my own commitment to that statement from the heart. And happy NAIDOC week, everyone.
The member for Cunningham, and call the member for